Today we're going to cover confined space and permanent confined spaces. Purpose of this policy is it applies to all who enter confined spaces for said company. The policy is designed to instruct employees and advise contractors on confined space entry procedures. This is covered under OSHA Regulation 29 CFR 1910.146. General. Many workplaces contain spaces that are considered confined because their configurations hinder the activity of employees who must enter, work in, and exit them. Confined spaces include, but are not limited to, tanks, storage bins, pits, and pipelines. OSHA uses the term permanent required confined space to describe a space that has one or more of the following characteristics: contains or potential to contain hazardous atmospheres, contains a material that has the potential to engulf an entrant, walls that converge inward or floors that slope downward and taper into a smaller area which could entrap or asphyxiate an entrant, contains any other recognized safety or health hazards such as unguarded machinery, exposed live wires, or potential of heat stress. Confined space entry procedures. A permit system must be used which specifies the potential hazards, and a checklist of safe entry is to be completed by the company lead prior to entry. The entrance must be posted with a warning sign and instructions for entry. The warning sign should read, "Danger, permit required, confined space, do not enter." Also, I guess they do not enter without permit. An entry log system is required, and all involved employees are required to log in, note the time when entering, and then sign out after the job has been completed or when they have left the space. The oxygen level must be monitored prior to entry and continuously while the space is occupied if there is a danger of oxygen deficiency. Employees entering the confined space are to be instructed to visually inspect the area for any unusual conditions. Confined space entry procedures continued. Employees required to enter confined spaces are to be trained in confined space hazards and be made aware that work performed in the area may generate additional hazards, requiring an updated evaluation of the work being performed by the supervisor in charge. Employees entering a confined space are required to place barriers, caution tape, and any necessary warning signs to divert pedestrians or outside vehicle traffic. This is to ensure entrants are protected from any outside hazards while in the confined space. Approved personal protective equipment and life support equipment will be provided if required, and all employees will be trained in their proper use. An attendant will be present at all times and is to be in communication with all employees working in the confined space. The attendant will be trained in the procedures to remove employees from a confined space in the event that this may be required. No company employees are to enter a confined space without prior authorization from the designated management rep responsible for the confined space entry procedure. Ventilation is to be provided and maintained at a sufficient level to ensure that the atmospheric conditions are safe at all times. If the entry is vertical and deeper than 5 feet, a lifeline is to be attached to the employee entering the space, and the line secured to a mechanical device or fixed point so rescue can begin immediately if necessary. There will be no single attendant for multiple confined spaces. A different attendant and permit must be issued for each confined space. If there are multiple employers in a confined space, check their permit to ensure it is good for that area and coordinate with their supervisor. If at any time an employee feels multiple employees in the area is unsafe, stop work immediately and report it to your lead or manager. If any of their practices endanger the entrant or surrounding environment, stop work and report it.